Why is that? I mean, what is that? What exactly is that? Why do I have this odd urge to look at you and go, ah? That's really annoying. Fine. Ah.
Error. This unit is unable to process the service request. Ah!
I did not
Customer,
say it
please repeat
like
the
that.
command.
I did not say ah. I said ah. Stupid bloody robot. A powerful handgun that fires special energy projectiles that ricochet off most surfaces. Okay, so this thing fires bouncing bullets? I missed that bit. Perhaps... yeah, same for... oh, you know what? Perhaps I've misjudged those weapons. Maybe there is some potential... like we could sort of shoot... oh, probably don't want to test that out in here. I could probably shoot them off a wall into a room without seeing someone and, I don't know, spray the place. Okay, well, let's keep hold of those until we've tested them out a little more. Now, we're heading... we're not going to finish his lab. He did say call in if we wanted to ask some more questions. We're heading off to Monarch. Stellar Bay, Cascadia. Warning, dangerous. We have... do we have something to do there as well? Radio Free Monarch. Speak with Nyoka at Stellar Bay. Phineas contacted the broker through the well-known Monarch big game hunter named Nyoka. She frequents the Yacht Club in Stellar Bay. Now that's Stellar Bay. That's Scylla, Skyla, Skilla, Scylla. Distress signal. Why is that quest still active? You've acquired one of the company's secrets that Gladys was talking about. You can return to her or sell it or keep searching for more secrets. You've acquired all the worthwhile company secrets in Roseway. Head back to Gladys on the Groundbreaker. I've done that. I've done that. Okay, you know what? Never mind. Never mind. Never mind. Next time we're on the Groundbreaker, we will call in and see if we missed something. But I've bought... what? That's going to bug me. That is actually going to bug me. We're currently on Terra 2, but... I just want to go and speak to Gladys, just in case.
The Groundbreaker has approved our request for docking, Captain.
It's
You're free to disembark.
Just going to annoy me otherwise. I'm going to take Parvati this time and probably Ellie just because. Right. Why do I still have this task for Gladys?
If you're here for this week's magazine club meeting, you're a touch late.
No, sorry. I've investigated that distress signal from Roseway.
What's that? Speak up now.
All those secrets you asked me to look for. About those secrets you asked me to look for, yeah.
What'd you turn up?
Nothing, I'm afraid. There was absolute... oh. Okay, look, there was a toothpaste formula, but then I unfound it.
Well, that's just swell, sweetheart. Good for you.
I acquired some research on Raptidon Musk, but I found another buyer.
A shame you didn't visit old Gladys first. That would have fetched a good price. I may have thrown in a batch of my famous sugar cookies just to sweeten the deal. If Auntie Cleo's exporting wraps from Monarch, golly me, someone's going to be in the soup when they get caught.
I found a prototype weapon schematic from Force, but I lost it.
Bless your slippery little fingers. Isn't that just a shame? Prototype schematics go for a fair handful of bits around here.
But that was it.
Darnation. It sounded like a gold mine, but maybe that's just my old hopes getting in the way. I suppose it can't be helped. Law bless you for doing the legwork, sweetie. Don't forget your pal Gladys now. You can come visit anytime.
So you're not mad with me then? You're not angry? Not even a little bit?
Anytime, sweetheart. You know where to find me.
Okay. No one's gonna shoot me as I walk out? No? Everything's... She seems surprisingly happy, considering we totally and utterly failed. On the bright side, it's now, like, off our list of things to do, which does alleviate my distress a little, but I'm still completely weirded out.
Captain, if you're looking for crew members Ellie or Felix, they're sharing a drink upstairs.
Oh. Normally when she tells me that, she's just been eavesdropping on them and wants me to go and do the same.
So then I says, fine, I'll pay you back for all of it, with interest.
Nice one. You must have had them quaking in their heels.
I mean, I wasn't really gonna do it. I just wanted to make him feel bad.
Pay you back with interest. I gotta remember that one.
Would have felt better if it had worked.
Sorry, I was just coming to collect something from my... Oh, there it is. Yeah. See you later. Okay. So those two are getting along really well, and... Should I worry that Felix seems to be, Well, it almost feels like he's looking to Ellie as a bit of a mentor. Am I going to have two pirates on ship? I'm not saying that's necessarily a bad thing, but still. Right. We were looking through the journal. That's what we were doing. We were looking through the journal. Radio Free Monarch. Phineas contacted the broker through a well-known monarch big game hunter named Nyoka. She frequents the Yacht Club in Stellar Bay, so look for her there. Weapons from the Void. That was Scylla. Space Crime Continuum. Lilia hasn't heard from her agent in Stellar Bay recently. Retrieve the information he's holding on the salvage location and deliver it to Catherine Marlin in Falbrook. I'm assuming that is on Monarch 2. The Empty Man. Vicar Max has tracked the scholar to a rented domicile in Falbrook on Monarch. Take Max to visit Reginald Cheney and ask him about the banned journal. Don't bite the sun. Find sweetheart cakes in old Rizzo facility in Cascadia on Monarch. Wait. Parvati wants me to find cakes for a date on a planet infested by creatures and monsters and... Really? Can we not? I mean, I know it's an important date, but do the cakes have to be, what, danger cakes? You wouldn't believe what we had to go through to get these cakes. Purchase a dustback casserole from Chef Raymond in Stellar Bay. Okay, so we've got a lot of things in Stellar Bay, one thing in Cascadia. Right. Yeah, let's go to Stellar Bay first, get the lay of the land, and perhaps, I don't know, a little more...
We're now in orbit above Stellar Bay, Captain.
A little more information regarding Monarch. Now, who are we taking with us? Because we've got two quests, one for Parvati and one for Vicar Max. However, Felix said he was an expert on Monarch. He'd seen some 12-part serial or something about Monarch and seemed really keen to go. It's just, I've got two things for these guys. So I tell you what, we'll go out with these guys first of all. Once we've got their quests done or sorted out, we'll come back and pick up Felix so that he can, or maybe Ellie as well, so they can stretch their legs. There you go. Everyone's happy. Except Sam. But Sam gives me the willies, so I'm giving him cleaning duty. Does this seem a little quiet to you? I was oh, we're... Oh, right, we're high up, and we can't see the bustle of the city. How? Okay. Right, we've got an elevator. What is over there? All right. You know, this is probably a bad look. Arrive in a spaceship, stand at a high vantage point, using a scoped rifle to look Hello?
Hey, hold on there. I gotta sign you in.
Right. Hello.
Don't think I've seen you around. That means you must be new to Stellar Bay. You are new here, right?
Or it means I've been stood on your left-hand side the entire time? Huh? Yeah, it's probably tasteless. Okay. Not here for chit-chat. You seem surprised. Well, that is my ship on the landing pad right next to you, and I did step out of it, so it's a fair bet I'm not from around here, yes.
I knew it. See, I made what you'd call a logical deduction. You must have seen those UDL gunships on your way in. There's only 3 of them these days. Still, they tend to scare folk off.
Yeah, takes more than a few gunships to scare... What are gunships doing out there? I didn't actually notice them, but...
You may not have heard, you being new, but Stellar Bay hardly ever gets off-road traffic. Us being cut off by the board and all. Which means I never get to do this part, but I've been practicing, so here goes.
Oh, God.
On behalf of Monarch Stellar Industries, welcome to Stellar Bay, home of the freshest sal tuna and halcyon. Please state your name for the records.
Really? I did not realize enthusiasm could be weaponized. That was painful. Please don't do it again. I prefer to travel... No, Captain Montgomery.
Swell. There's one for the logs. I'm even gonna give you your own entry code. I'm not supposed to do that. It's against procedure, but Mr. Sanjar isn't so strict about the rules here. Besides, I got a lot of empty entries to fill.
Is Stellar Bay really that isolated? You're not what I expected to find on Monarch. You're not. To be honest, I was expecting to find... Well, I don't know. I've heard you've had a bit of a beastie problem. Is Stellar Bay really that isolated?
We don't get ship traffic in town. Only off-worlders who do make it out here are sublight. They got a base in Fallbrook. And thank the stars for them, or we would have run out of Rizzo's Purple Berry Crunch years ago.
Right. Okay. You're not what I expected to find on Monarch. That is absolutely true. I mean, you look like a grizzled space veteran, but you sound like a 16-year-old on his first day at a job.
Oh, that'll just make Mr. Sanjar's day if you tell him. The board makes up lots of nasty stories about raptidons and cannibals and whatnot. But that's all outside our walls. Mostly.
Mostly? Are you saying the board's been lying about this place?
Oh, sure. It makes Stellar Bay sound like a rotten place, but it's not so bad. Get a good breeze going, and the sulfur smell mostly covers up the fishy smell.
Ah, the nostalgic stench of home. Can't say I miss the day-to-day of living in Edgewater.
Anyway, Mr. Sanjar's got lots to say on that subject. Kinda goes over my head, though.
Okay, well, fair enough. I'm going to wander around and just generally be nosy, if that's okay.
Mr. Sanjar will be mighty pleased to meet you. If you see him over at headquarters, maybe you could tell him I did a bang-up job of welcoming you?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, and if you're headed that way, maybe you could do me a favor?
That depends. What is it?
I got this Rizzo's Rangers tossball poster coming in on the next sublight shipment, signed by the Black Hole himself. Only I haven't heard anything in a while. You think you could check with Celia to see if it's come in?
Who's the Black Hole? The poster sounds pretty valuable. Who's the Black Hole?
That's Bertie Holcomb, only one of the greatest tossball hackers ever.
I wonder if he's kin. Dad had family that worked for Rizzo's. I never got to meet them.
Everyone's heard of him, even on Monarch. We still get some of the games. You been living in a sulfur pit or something?
Well, actually, I've been in hibernation for the... Why is he called the Black Hole? Yeah, why is he called the Black Hole?
On account of him being the best hacker who ever played. Nothing gets by him. He sucks up every ball that comes his way.
Okay, did you hear... yeah, maybe you should actually word that a little differently.
Well, Holcomb's had a lot of nicknames over his career. Used to be the tallywhacker on account of what he'd do to the score. Before that, he was the slick stick, because his shots were always so smooth.
You have got to be making this up. You have got to be kidding me.
I swear I'm not. At the start of his career, people called him the hack boss, but no one thought that was very catchy.
Right. This poster sounds pretty valuable. Is it safe for work?
I couldn't really say. I'm just a fan of the game. But the fancy collector types say the more people see these things, the less valuable they are. And I figure my poster's been passed around by more than a few people by now.
Right. Sure, I'll ask about your poster.
Thanks a bunch.
Check
Celia
with
works
Celia.
for Mr. Sanjar in the MSI building next to the bar. She's
All right.
always there, so you can't miss her.
Yeah, Oh, we really should have had Felix for that conversation, shouldn't we? That would have... He might have known all of that. Which... Whoa. That looked weird from this specific angle. Let's not dwell on that, shall we? The Yacht Club.
What are the chances of all the times and places we could have been born?
Yeah.
We're here, light years from Earth, going about our lives.
Every time the punch clock peals, a worker earns his meals.
What are you talking about?
Sorry, I thought you were quoting It's a Wonderful Directorate.
Okay, so this place is gonna be... You're very colourful. You're also who I've come to see. Well, you're one of the people I've come to see. You're just not quite what I was... Could just give me a second. Parvati as a... Monarch Big Game Hunter. Okay, I must admit, I was expecting someone... I don't know how I was expecting a big game hunter to be dressed, but it wasn't quite like that.
And the little bastard's slippery, right? On account of its blood, so it's sliding. All over the place, trying to crawl away. Getting so I can't tell the blood from the mud.
Or being that drunk? Yeah, let's just...
But I gotta get in there. Get right in that baby-wrapped stomach and dig it out. If so much as a drop of stomach acid got on that medallion, shit, I don't know what I'd do. Might be I'd hunt every damn wrapped out there. Right. What are you staring? Wait. You ain't from around here. Who are you?
Who? I'm Montgomery. Pleased to meet you. Montgomery, are you always this drunk? That's a bit of a personal question, isn't it? Yes, Montgomery. Pleased to meet you.
Ooh, charmer. Don't get a lot of that around here. Folks mostly grump at me about how I should join the MSI payroll. Nice change of pace. Buy me a drink, will you?
Sure.
Outstanding. What are you doing in Stellar Bay, stranger?
Many things, but oddly enough, Okay, just seeing what it's like for myself. People talk it up like it's a shithole. Really? No, I'm actually kind of here to see you. I'm told you can help me find an information broker.
Well. Let's get down to brass nuts then, shall we? Wait.
Tax.
That ain't it.
Brass.
Rats.
Tax.
Let's talk business. I'm headed back out there after I sober up. You want a guide sooner than that? You have to get me something to clear my head.
Sure, what do you need? I'm not in the mood to fetch things. I don't need an escort. Just tell me how to get to Devil's... No, I don't mind an escort. How much time do you need? What? No, out of curiosity, what do you need?
Outstanding! Our dispensary here maintains a stock of, well, I don't rightly know what they are. Steroid or caffeine somethings? Pills. They're very good. I'm cut off for the month on account of needing one just about every damn day. But I'm sure you've got your wily ways. Fetch me one and we'll be all set.
Yeah, you're gonna be my guide. I'm not saying I'm worried. I'm just thinking it inside. If I can get a steroid or caffeine... You mean caffeinoid? That stuff's just a stimulant.
Well, they work. We got a deal or what?
Yeah, sure. I will get you basically caffeine pills so you can sober up quickly. Okay, that was easy. Just let's talk.
Well. Isn't often we see new folk in Stellar Bay. First drink's on me, stranger.
That's a mighty fine mustache you have there. Oh, thank you.
Enjoy. If you plan on sitting through Nyoka's stories, you could use a few.
I could use a few and telling them myself.
Now what can I do for you?
Okay, how well do you know Nyoka? You said you're not used to seeing new faces around here. Why is this place called the Yacht Club? Let's go. How well do you know the lady stood next to me?
Anyone who spends any amount of time in this bar is bound to get to know Nyoka, on account of her being here so often herself. And I don't mean that unkindly. Anyone who's rid us of as many beasts as you have is entitled to a few drinks. Something else I can do for you?
Okay, yeah, you said you're not used to seeing new faces around here.
Not since Amber Heights. These days we have more leaving than coming. Off to join the iconoclasts or some such.
And what happened to... what happened to Amber Heights?
Bunch of marauders broke into the executive compound, slaughtered everyone. Corporations pulled out of Monarch not long after. I thought everyone knew. But then that was 10 years ago. Still feels fresh to us every time we look at our walls, though.
Right. Why is this place called the Yacht Club?
Thought it had a fancy ring to it. Name's the first advertising anyone sees, after all.
Are there any actual yachts here in Stellar Bay?
Nope. But a man can dream.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. No surprise, Fallbrook is outside of Stellar Bay, and I think I'm going to be hanging around Stellar Bay for a little while, which means we can probably send Vicar Max back to the ship and bring Felix out for his astute knowledge of the area, plus also his knowledge of tossball, which seems like it might actually be useful. And everything else at the moment, I think, is... Oh, no, there is... What was it? Space Crime Continuum? No, I actually have to meet someone in Stellar Bay first anyway. Oh, okay, right. I've got to spend the perk point. This is a bit of a no-brainer. Synchronicity. When Pavati performs her ability, recharge some of your tactical time dilation meter, 25%. Essentially, I start combat, use time dilation, send her in, get time dilation back. Yeah. Real no-brainer. So, can I send you back?
I find myself marveling at the complex simplicity of the Fibonacci spiral. I'm sure you know what that's like. Something vexing you, Captain?
Yes. You. Okay, yeah, I return to the Unreliable. I want you to wait for me on the ship. Yes. Is it possible for you to send someone out to us?
Will do, Captain. I'll keep an eye on her. In the meantime, take care of yourself out here.
Or do we... Okay, Pavati, I don't think you're allowed to be at the bar. Bloody hell, you guys move quickly. Alright, so I don't... Okay, so... I need to go back if I want to pick up Felix. Brilliant. I mean... It would have been nice if you could have said, oh, send Felix out, and then Felix just came and found us, but, you know... So we've got a number of things to do here, but I believe the building next to the Yacht Club is supposed to be... Yeah. The head honcho's building. Probably a good place to start. Introduce ourselves and...
Could I get another advance, Mr. Nandi?
Just make sure it's properly logged.
I'll note it next to the others, sir.
Okay, I need to speak to both of you, although I think I should probably start by speaking to the head honcho. Probably good protocol.
Well, new business turns up at last.
Celia, didn't I tell you our new statistics-based advertising model would be a hit?
That you did, sir.
How can yield improvements of 26.7% not quicken the pulse? How can 32% cost savings not moisten the loins?
You've often posed these very questions.
Clear my schedule. This newcomer has a meeting with me.
That's very generous of you. No, you have a meeting with me. Yes, you have a meeting with me, you slightly strange person.
Did you hear that power play, Celia? They don't make them like this anymore in Halcyon.
Okay.
I only hope you don't judge me by my handshake.
Oh, now, I was not going to shake your hand.
What business brings you here?
I'm just looking for the information broker. Should I trust him with this information? Me, I'm charting my own path, going where the wind takes me. Yes, that one. I am wandering the universe, doing stuff.
What a charming notion. One doesn't meet many free spirits in Halcyon. Not outside Tartarus prison, anyway. Forgive me, I'd be positively enraptured. Only, I take it this means you aren't here for Saltuna.
Probably not. Was that last bit a threat? If I have to eat one more weird science project passed off as food in this, I'm going to stab someone. That's probably not the greatest way to start a relationship here, is it? No, afraid not. Hey, it could be, but no. I'm definitely not here for the food, though. Okay? I just want that one down as a ground rule.
Oh, a shame. I'd been saving a bottle of iceberg-aged whiskey for an occasion like this.
Seems like you're having a rough time, Mr. Sanjar. Are you doing quite all right?
Oh, don't worry on my account. This is merely the latest in a long line of professional erotic and athletic disappointments. I had hoped that livening up our advertisements with enticing figures would draw the other corporations back to our bosom, but it seems we're back to the drawing board.
Okay, you've knocked me a little off my horse with this conversation. I mean, for a start, I'm thinking, hey, that whiskey sounds nice. And then I'm thinking, I'm sorry, why are we talking about your erotic disappointments? And sounds like a personal problem. I've got other concerns. If you're free of the other corporations, why do you want to bring them back? What exactly are you... Yeah, why would you want to bring all the corporations back?
Because he's scared to go it alone. You need the board to hold your hand and tell you everything's going to be okay. Ain't that right?
Surviving alone isn't as easy as it looks. Thanks to the so-called hazard clause, Monarch has been cut off from the board's resources and protection for 10 years now. Now, we've kept ourselves in business by trading with individual corporations, but given the off-the-books nature of those transactions, such arrangements are precarious.
Okay, so you're doing a bit of... Oh, well, you're tired of scrounging and scraping by, is that it? Sounds like you're freer than anyone else in Halcyon. Why not embrace it? Yeah, why not? Why, just go with it.
You talk like Graham.
Can't imagine why you'd sneer at the notion of a free colony. Could it be because you're an agent of the establishment?
All right, Felix, don't...
I used to be young and idealistic too.
Make me regret bringing you.
You can't run a city on high-minded ideals.
That's a coward's answer. Yeah, so what? Okay, what is going on here? What are you doing?
Well, Mr. Nandi here has a rather ingenious plan to get MSI restored to the board.
On our terms, mind you.
Are you out of your mind? You can't just go crawling back to your old masters.
Well, we can't continue to subsist like this either.
And if our advertising scheme hasn't borne fruit, then perhaps it's time we took matters into our own hands.
Enough preamble. What's the this lady knows what's going on. What do you mean by if our advertising hasn't borne, perhaps it's time we took matters into our own hands? Yeah, your advertising sucks. Because I haven't seen it, and had I seen it, and it tried to make me moisten my loins or something, I'd be... Okay, what's the plan?
It's a two-pronged approach. The first part involves seeing Stellar Bay properly defended.
Okay. Don't take this the wrong way. But how is that a brand new exciting idea?
Not long, but the devil is always in the details. And the salient detail here is a Bolt 52 cartridge. If you can get us what we need to rejoin the board, starting the Bolt 52, we'll be able to become one of the most productive and secure cities in Halcyon.
And you'll have a powerful ally on the board.
That, I suppose, could be useful, although... This Bolt 52 sounds useful. What is it?
Why, one of the strongest defenses in Halcyon. An extremely powerful ordnance.
I was starting to get bored listening to you, until you said the phrase, extremely powerful ordnance.
It is
Me too, actually. Once you have the Bolt 52, what's the other part of your plan?
I'll need to gather some supplemental materials, but I mustn't get ahead of myself.
You do tend to do that.
The Bolt 52 will be in the old arms building southwest of town, which used to be part of Stellar Bay before we had to move our walls in. And these days, it's overrun with marauders and raptidons.
Why are you saying it that way?
Saying what? Which way?
You're saying arms with capital letters instead of arms, small letters.
That's just what it's called. It's supposed to stand for something, but I forget what.
Okay. I'm sure I'll know it when I find it. Yeah.
Oh, and while you're at it, there should be a terminal in the arms building with some dangerous information. Perhaps you could delete it so it doesn't fall into the wrong hands.
Oh, yeah. Sure I will. Out of curiosity, I might need to ask you about something else.
What can I do for you?
Just out of curiosity. I'm looking for... No, wait a minute. I have questions about MSI and the good old days. Yes. Oh, no, I met Grim on the landing pad. God.
I see. And was his delivery of the MSI authorized greeting up to snuff?
Oh, yeah, he's a world-class moron. Yeah, no, he was fine. He did a good job. He was very cheerful and chipper. Not the smartest person I've ever met. But, yeah, very, very, very welcoming.
Well, that's excellent. I'll see that your feedback makes it into his review. What else can I do for you?
Yes, I have questions about MSI and the good old days.
Then it's good that I keep such meticulous notes.
Okay, how did MSI get kicked off the board in the first place?
I've asked myself the same thing many times, especially seeing as the legal mechanisms we employed were part of the board's own bylaws.
Do you mean that you initiated your own removal from the board? This is why you can't trust corporations and that. No, so you initiated your own removal from the board?
Not intentionally, though that's technically true. For many years, this planet was home to as many corporations as Terra 2. But back then, it was known as Terra 1.
Oh. Terra 1, Terra 2. I see the board put their best people on the... that
Really?
one.
I always thought they were refreshingly straightforward names. After all, the whole point of terraforming was to make them Earth-like.
Here, though, the results were mixed.
And as the other corporations began to tally their losses, they decided to pull out.
But not MSI, right?
Our leadership at the time certainly wanted to. But there were others of us who saw an opportunity. The chance to improve working hours and conditions, to reform MSI from the ground up.
Wait, what? Reforms are for quitters? Let's... Improve working hours and conditions. That was... staggeringly forward-thinking of you, actually.
It's humane, but it's also good business sense.
Okay.
Exhausted, sick, and malnourished workers are not productive workers. Even a cursory review of the data bears that out.
I hope you'd treat them nice, whether it was good business or not, Mr. Sanjar. That's what being a community means. Treating people right, because it's the right thing to do.
Word of advice, Sanjar. If Parvati's got something to say, you do well to listen close.
A noble thought, Miss Holcomb. Unfortunately, noble thoughts rarely sway board policy. Anyway, we learned of a loophole in the corporate bylaws that would allow MSI to claim ownership of the entire planet once the other corporations pulled out, creating the perfect environment for us to enact these new reforms.
Okay. I'm a little fascinated by Parvati downing on him after she came from Edgewater, to be honest. I'm like... because this guy at least seems to have a slightly more humane look on, you know, humans. I take it your leadership didn't embrace the ideas. Using the board's own tools against them. Clever. Who's this us and we? Yeah, that is a good point, actually.
Oh, well, there were surely other junior executives with more open minds, though none of them had the temperament to handle the paperwork.
Who are we talking about? You're being cagey.
But I was keeping my tone flat and maintaining eye contact. You weren't supposed to notice I was avoiding the subject.
This is why you've never been good with presentations, sir.
Very well. Many, many years ago, Graham Bryant and I used to be collaborators of sorts.
Graham. This is the person she mentioned, and I sounded like him. He does not want to rejoin the board, right? So he helped you make your case to the senior executives.
Indeed, for all the good it did. MSI's then leadership wasn't enthusiastic. They insisted we'd be relocating to Terra 2 along with everyone else.
Alright, I hope you gave him the finger. Guess you missed the transport. Yeah!
Many of us chose to stay behind. And as the most senior executive remaining, I ended up in charge of what was left of MSI. I moved forward with our planned reforms, as well as our strategy to assume ownership of the planet. Yet not long after I renamed it Monarch, the other corporations dislodged us from the board and began an official campaign to paint us as lawless savages.
Right. You should have known you couldn't oppose them. But why would they do that? That's low even for them. You should have known. Well, you couldn't oppose them, but you should have known they'd... Alright, not that he couldn't oppose them. I'd rather say you should have known they would strike back. Alright, but why would they do that? Why would they strike back? We sort of know why.
I don't know. Everything we did was legal and above board. We followed their rules, and yet they still found reasons to declare us outlaws.
Because you're a threat.
Your first mistake was expecting the board to cut you a fair deal.
I understand the sentiment, but if we can't rely on some sort of framework, then what do we have? I do think there's something useful in a governing body like the board. Something that keeps us from anarchy, but I dearly wish it functioned differently.
Okay. Why exactly do you want to be back on the board? What's the hazard clause? So you used to work with Graham, why not You don't seem to think much of Graham. You used to like him, and you both sort of see eye to eye on the reforms issue. He just doesn't agree with you regarding the board, right?
He and his followers call themselves the Iconoclasts. Lawless anarchists, all of them. If anyone on Monarch deserves the reputation the board's pinned on us, it's them.
Right. Have you thought about giving them a chance?
A chance? They've been doing this for years. And well, let's just say I know enough about Graham to be confident that he won't change. It isn't just that they drain our people and resources. Every radical act they commit cements Halcyon's image of us all as destructive rebels and pushes us further from the rest of the colony.
Oh, they're actually...
So, what's the downside?
Shall I begin with the supply shortages or the subtle but constant threat of annihilation? He's lucky the board doesn't take him seriously enough to keep more than a few UDL gunships patrolling Monarch.
An Earth Directorate assault cruiser would change his tune. It's almost a shame we haven't seen one around Monarch in a long while.
Right, so he's not just sort of speaking out against you, he's actively... Okay, right. So you used to work with Graham, why not mention that earlier?
As far as I'm concerned, the less said about Graham, the better. Graham seemed like a reasonable man years ago. We both agreed that MSI's treatment of its workers was untenable. I thought reforms would be enough. I didn't realize you wanted to abolish the corporate system entirely.
Okay. What is the hazard clause?
It's a legal provision that gives the board the authority to cordon off any planet or location that it deems dangerous.
Sounds like the board gave themselves the power to arrest an entire planet.
They would say it's for the greater good.
You sound skeptical. Seems like a sensible restriction. No, it does not. And you sound skeptical.
Monarch may be dangerous, but it's hardly the wasteland the board describes it to be. Whatever the board's goals, the greater good has little part in them.
Okay, and the million-dollar question, the million-bit question, why exactly do you want back on the board? I know it's all about, you know, not having anarchy, but why could you not have a regional government here, a you know, law and order, but based from here?
Why wouldn't anyone? They own nearly all the resources and infrastructure in Halcyon.
Yeah, and once you go back to him, he'll own your dignity too.
To be on the board is to be part of the colonial community, and being cut off means slow strangulation.
Or you trade with them. You become an independent planet and you set up trade relations with them or something. I can't fault you for your practicality. Seems like anything is better than the corporate... They've treated you pretty roughly. Is it worth going back to that?
I'm not a man to put pride before progress. If membership on the board can ease our hardships and provide us with opportunities, then that's the path I mean to pursue. Besides, I'm hopeful that additional leverage on our part will allow us a more equitable relationship.
Leverage, good for you. Force them to the bargaining table. Just be careful the board doesn't mess around. Leverage?
Don't get ahead of yourself, sir.
Yes. It'll be easier to explain once we have the Bolt 52. My hope is to maintain the reforms we've managed here, and who knows? Perhaps once we're restored, we could spread them to other corporations.
Okay. I want to talk about something else.
What can I do for you?
No, I think... You know what? I'm going to tell him. I'm looking for an information broker.
Hiram? Why, he's probably still out at Devil's Peak. Not that he's had the courtesy to notify me, at any rate.
How do I get to Devil's Peak? I have a feeling you're going to say, oh, don't go alone, take a guide, right?
You'd head south along the road and look for a mountain to the west. Not that I'd advise it. It's a terribly dangerous trek. But if you insist on going, I'd recommend taking a local guide. Nyoka would be a prime candidate.
If you can keep her sober.
Yeah, that's a big if, isn't it? Okay, so well, okay, I'm right. That's interesting. I'm not saying he's wrong, because he does make a lot of sense. I'm just saying I don't quite feel that he's right, which makes me think we should definitely go and talk to this Graham person.